Hey guys, welcome to your daily astrological horoscope for Sunday, January 21st. And that's it. We're at the end of the week. Today is the crown chakra day. And it's been a rather crazy week. Crazy week. I mean, we were talking about it yesterday a little bit about how, there's a lot of changes going on in the air. And I mean, it's been a couple crazy weeks. To be honest, not just this one, but I think finally this week begins to conclude things a bit and mellow down. I haven't taken a really big look at next week, but we don't have a whole lot of sign changes, for example. So in that regard, things are going to be fine. The only thing we have next week is Mars going into Sagittarius, and I believe the week after that we have Mercury going into Aquarius. So not a lot of sign changes, to be honest. Planets are still full steam ahead until March 9th, which we get our first retrograde. So yeah, let's see what we got going on for today. Moon still in Pisces. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the moon in Pisces, because it sure as hell feels like it's been here for a lot of days. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be our last day of moon in Pisces. Still 4 p.m. So I'd say by the time the hour rolls over to the 22nd, that's when we're going to have our moon in Aries at last. At last, almighty at last. But you guys know what this transit is right here. We've already gone through this every month. A little bit different each time, but you exactly know what it is. It's moon dealing with pains, dealing with karmic issues, dealing with the past. It's it's not a surprise. It's Pisces. It loves this shit. But having that Mercury conjunct yesterday was really a dreamlike state because of Neptune's energies as well. Today we don't really have that per se. We don't have that that sextile to Mercury, and we're pretty far away from Neptune, so it's really just Moon and Chiron going on today. I mean, they're still making a trine over to Mars here, so let me go ahead and dim this down a little bit and draw some lines. So we have Moon trining Mars, while Mars has been trining Chiron for the last few days. We also have Jupiter in the mix here, so definitely trying to maximize that energy to Chiron. And in fact, it's already at 20 degrees. Jupiter's only going to keep going higher. It's going to go to about 23, which is very close to Chiron, and that's when it's going to begin retrograding. So that's a thing that's going on here. What I find very fascinating in all of this is the two sextiles over to Lilith. And again, Lilith generally doesn't have a lot of importance, because Lilith is the dark moon. It's the moon that cannot be seen, the energies of the unseen, the mirage. But that's what makes it so significant, and it makes me so sorrow. Because again, I feel like Lilith is just trying to show us the way subconsciously, and all we have to do is be able to listen to her. Again, being the invisible axis of the moon node point really affirms the fact that she is constantly trying to work with us and help us and make us feel great. But because she's part of that subconscious, we don't really get to hear her message often. We don't really get to hear what it is that she has to say to us. And Moon being in Pisces is definitely a very big spiritual meaning to begin with, right? This is the sign of higher selves. So there's a lot of energy here that is really attached to karma, and as well karmic endings here. Taking the actions to really be able to do something about that. And it's our subconscious, it's the depths, right? Not just the intuition of the moon, which is the things that we're able to consciously feel and intuitively know as well as emotionally feeling it. But when I'm talking about the true subconscious of someone's mind, I think of Lilith, right? And she's also authority and power and stuff, but the problem is we don't see it. It's never there. And so when Lilith finally appears to us, when the mirage is visible, she's always lashing out at people. Why? Because for the rest of the freaking month, she was screaming at people to get their shit straight. So when she finally becomes visible, it's like, I've been telling you for so long that my robes have changed from pure white to dark black, because all of you guys have just been pissing me the fuck off this entire time, because you haven't been able to do the damn things that I've been trying to get you to fucking do. So again, it's so telling to see Dark Moon Lilith here really coming into a double sextile with this Mars and Moon with Chiron, because it's like, take the actions to really heal your wounds. Take the moment to connect with your higher self, to really be able to help clear that karma within you. There's so much happening around you on a physical material world that all originates from the abstract spiritual sense. And Lilith here is really trying to tell us, take a moment to really appreciate the underlying effects of the things that happen around your life that indirectly affect you, and half the times you're never even aware of it. Like, for example, and I can even bring this down to a Virgo level, right? I can talk about you being an employee for Walmart. Every single day you go in, you bust your ass 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. You're working hard on bringing in the packages every day. You are busting out the work. The Lilith side of that, and I can use this because it's in Capricorn, the Lilith side of that is all of the CEOs, the stock brokers, the investors, the advertisements, the outreach. All of that is a part of the company you work in, but it's happening on a subconscious level because it's indirectly affecting you. If they weren't successful at their job, you wouldn't have a job there. If you didn't have a job there, you'd be scrambling trying to get a job somewhere else. That's what Lilith really represents. I know that I keep using the very direct meaning of the spiritual world around us, and I know not everyone is always on board with that description. So I want to bring it down to a Virgo level. I want to bring it down to a very realistic physical experience, right? Even now, think about things like, trying to think of like an example of a school. Maybe you're a high school student. You go in every day, 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. You go into your classes and you do the work, turn your projects in, and boom, you're good to go. What's the indirect things that are affecting you? The work that the teacher needs to put in, the resources that she needs to acquire, the lesson plans that she needs to design, following the curriculum that has been set by the school board, which is a standard set by the federal, what is it? I'm blanking out really hard, even though I should know this. I think it's like the federal school board or whatever. I'm blanking out hard. The Board of Education. There we go. The Board of Education. These are standards that may be set for your state or for nationwide, because some people have the new curriculum style and they're moving away from standardized testing, right? But again, the funding that your school has, the support that your educators are getting, the the work that your superintendent may be doing, all of the staffers, there is so much happening behind the scenes, so much that is occurring that is indirectly affecting you. You don't see the board of education walking around your school monitoring everything that happens, right? No, there's no direct point A to point B effect. It goes through a chain of series. So, you know, one person affects the other, that person affects another person, that person affects your teacher, and then your teacher affects you. It's an indirect chain of events. And so I really like this concept of Lilith really representing that subconscious almost structure that is occurring in your life. That there are things that are happening and you may not necessarily be aware of them, but if you are, you can take more action, better action, efficient action to be able to improve the type of X, Y, or Z that you're receiving. So for example, let's use this on a more basic level. Let's say that what's the freaking leader of the chairman of the school of education or the board of education leader name? I fucking hate her name. She's like such a horrible person. DeVos, right? Betsy DeVos is the incumbent secretary of education, and she's a pretty shitty person. But you know, leaving my own remarks out, if students, right, because students are the consumers of education that are going through the structure or bureaucracy, whatever, that are schools. If the students were aware of the shit show that she's causing, of the policies that she's implementing, of the changes to education that she is seeking to implement, if the students were able to gather up together as a collective, as an Aquarian collective, because humanitarian pursuits here, were to unite as one body and essentially, I don't want to say the word rebel, but really bring out protests against her and begin to organize to try to oust her and get somebody who's more pro-education in there, as opposed to pro-money, which is what she is, then they would be listening to the silent subconscious messages of Lilith to then be able to take the initiatives of Mars to be able to clear the problems that are Chiron on an intuitive level here. Because every time the moon and the dark moon make an aspect, a bit of the dark moon is revealed to us. A bit of the subconscious is accessible. So it's it's a bit strange, but that's kind of like a real world scenario of what Lilith represents, right? It's really realizing that there is more happening than you're aware of, and there are people fighting out there day in and day out trying to make a difference, but you may not be aware that it's happening because it's all happening on a subconscious level. So you know, for today, y'all guys know we got moon on Chiron. Oh, that is the wrong open screen. Moon on Chiron with Mars and dark moon Lilith. Definitely listening to your subconscious, listening to your intuition, your downloads, clearing up a lot of that karma, building up that energy, and it's up to you to initiate these actions. So once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's daily astrological horoscopes. Really do appreciate it. I see that my yesterday's episode is incorrectly shown here. Do not worry, it's going to update right there, poop, with the Saturday video. And again, if you haven't seen Athena and Taurus, you can go ahead and check that out. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next cast. Peace.